This program is brought to you by Community Trust Bank, Medical City, Bid Select, and the Neely School of Business at TCU. Welcome to Platforms, the life-lifting news program for women. Now, here's your host, Shivaun Palmer.
Hey, welcome everybody to Platforms, the life-lifting news program for women. This week we're broadcasting in a beautiful ranch environment just west of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We have a fantastic show this week. We're going to cover entrepreneurship, the life of a cowgirl, and philanthropy Texas style. Our first guests are Beverly Branch and Lyn Walsh. They are the co-founders of the Charity Foundation, a Texas nonprofit based here in Fort Worth, Texas. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
Boy, do you look snazzy in those outfits. Love it. You look fantastic. Okay, you've really created a remarkable nonprofit, Charity, and I wanted to start at the beginning. What prompted you to start this foundation, but also maybe share a personal story? I know that both of you have suffered a loss. Both of you lost your moms to various forms of cancer. How about you, Bev?
Yes, my mom passed away 11 years ago with breast cancer.
Breast cancer? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Lyn, what about you?
Well, actually, my mother had cancer the first time when I was 7.
7.
So we have lived, the whole family, with cancer our whole lives. So my mother lasted another 35 years. So back then, that was
that's remarkable.
It was remarkable, and then she died of lung cancer.
Yeah. Let's talk about the whole beginning of Charity Foundation. What prompted you to do this?
We raised money for other organizations for many years. And we had certain programs in our minds and how we wanted to run a nonprofit, and so we started Charity. And so another point would be to have less stress in our lives and be able to run it the way
you wanted, and know it'd be successful. Talk about the services and the focus for the Charity Foundation.
Well, we have 2 initiatives. Mm-hmm. One is cancer, and we treat adult cancers. We treat them inside the the Center for Cancer and Blood Disorders. We have offices in all of their locations. We have holistic type treatments for folks. We are the first ones in the nation to come up with oncology massage in the chemo room.
Really? Now that's really interesting because many years ago with chemotherapy it just seemed like a barbaric treatment, so you're really looking at treating the patient kind of body, mind, spirit type approach?
Yes,
okay.
It certainly is. And a lot of people, when they have cancer, people don't want to touch them. Their loved ones don't want to touch them. They're in concern of hurting them. So our oncology massage therapist is a lovely, lovely person. We get letters all the time about how wonderful she is and how much better she makes them feel. But it is also very medicinal in that it helps people combat some of the side effects of chemotherapy. The nausea is much less, and the psychological effects of chemotherapy she's able to help alleviate in some instances.
Does it actually impact your immune system when you have a therapeutic massage like that? I mean, it just helps the whole system?
I don't know if it impacts your immune system, but it certainly doesn't hurt it.
Yeah, and from a spiritual standpoint, like you said. Okay.
I think it helps people calm down so that they believe that things probably work a little bit better because it's a pain management issue as well.
Right. Now, the services you provide through Charity, people that can't pay for some of these services, this is where the foundation comes in and helps that population?
Yes, we provide nutritional supplements. We have a nutritionist that is, when someone's diagnosed with cancer these days, the physicians are requesting nutritionists come in before people start losing weight and before their health starts going downhill. And some people can't afford the supplements, and they're expensive, and they can't afford the gas to get to and from their treatment if they have to go several times. So we provide gas cards and nutritional supplements, and in some instances we provide feeding tubes to get the nutritional supplements to the patient.
So it's really a team approach here, because it would be so tragic if somebody couldn't access this kind of service, because everybody should be entitled to the same type of good service for their disease.
Yes.
Why don't you share some of the stories about the people that you have helped? I know that you reach out not only in Tarrant County, but you reach out to Parker and Johnson County, and you have a really cool event where you bring out some of the physicians. Tell us about that whole event and how many people are involved.
Well, in each county we've collaborated with, in Parker County with Weatherford Regional Medical Center, Parker County Health Foundation, Solace for Women, the Center for Cancer and Blood Disorders, Dr. Amy Gunter, who happens to be one of our participants in the celebrity cutting, and won last year.
All right,
In Tarrant County, we have Texas Health Resources, Dr. Jane Bussey, who is also a celebrity cutting participant, the Center for Cancer and Blood Disorders, and we're taking the unit in Moncrief Cancer Institute. We're taking the unit to the United Way of Tarrant County this year, and on Charity Day, any woman who's diagnosed with breast cancer will receive treatment all the way through. We found that women who hesitate to get a mammogram because they can't afford it really can't afford to know that they have cancer. And we also do this in Johnson County at Hughley.
So you actually have also mobile units too, where you'll go out to these various areas there to screen people for mammograms and so forth that can't get into the...
Yes, that goes on all year long. And Charity Day goes on one day in each county, Johnson, Parker, and Tarrant. And we did over 200 mammograms last year on Charity Day.
And Charity Day is when you come to our unit and have that, the mammogram on our units. That is when that qualifies you for the diagnosis. If you're diagnosed,
if you're diagnosed positive, then you immediately take action and get them in to see a specialist, and so there's not that waiting period.
Right, and so that's where the surgeon is donating her or his time. That's where the hospital is donating the hospitalization. That's where the Center for Cancer and Blood Disorders is donating all chemo and radiation, which is just unheard of, to have that entire spectrum covered, cost-free for that person who is diagnosed that day from our units.
Lyn, talk about also the pediatric palliative care. Why don't you talk about what that term means to begin with, and that's the second phase of what Charity focuses on. I know you've got a strong relationship with Cook's Children's Hospital. Well,
palliative care is basically new in Texas, but has been done in the West Coast for several years. It is...
What does that term mean, palliative?
Well, palliative, you can be born into palliative care if you're diagnosed with a terminal illness at birth, and palliative care could follow an individual for 35 to 40 years. It's rare that does happen, but palliative care could. And palliative care, the physicians have been taught all their lives to save lives, and palliative care helps the physicians, the families, through the end of life.
So in other words, it just kind of improves the quality of life depending on what phase the patient is in the process, not necessarily trying to cure the disease.
Exactly.
Okay, okay. Ladies, we've got to go to break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation. This is Shivaun Palmer with Platforms, the life-lifting news program for women. We'll be back in a moment.